This episode of the Final Fantasy Wiki Podcast is brought to you by, Jesus fucking Christ, it's been 3 months since the last episode. We got no time for this. Let's go, 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 go! And then we'll have the intro music, as usual. And I've got to discuss this because this is what Blue always does. So anyway, welcome to the Final Fantasy Wiki Podcast, Hell episode, winter/summer edition. I mean, it stopped being incredibly summer. There was a heatwave warning here over the weekend, but it was still summer. It was a very weird summer. Do you know that it snowed in Tasmania on Christmas Day?
It snowed in Tasmania?
On Christmas Day.
What
My
hell?
goodness.
Like, snow in Tasmania is normal because, you know, it's well in the temperate zone. Like the bottom of Victoria and Tasmania are like the parts of Australia that aren't tropical. But not in December. Because you see, there's this place called the Southern Hemisphere where the seasons are opposite to what most of our audience would be used to.
See, it's snowing in Texas at the moment, right?
What the fuck?
This time, the snow doesn't seem to be knocking out the power, which is because everyone put solar panels on their homes, myself included. So thank you to everyone in the state who put solar panels on your home. You've saved the power grid this time.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ontario seems to be experiencing the apocalypse. I think we're getting like 30 centimeters of snow a day or something.
Okay. Like seriously, why is it that every winter now that the temperate zone just in the northern hemisphere just seems to go all the way up to the tropics? Just like no, there's no such thing as a subtropical zone anymore, except maybe California, because there's some place that needs to still have a hell assortment of Australian trees that will explode in a place other than Australia. They explode in Australia too, but we're used to it.
California is shielded by the Rockies, but also some fucking idiot put eucalyptus trees everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's also basically the case down here. The East Coast, where most people live, is largely shielded by the Great Dividing Range. But the trees are fucking everywhere because that's where they're supposed to be. So anyway, we have 3 months of stuff to get through. I have Nova Crystallis' Blue Sky feed open because I do not remember any of it. And then there's also going to be a bunch of stuff we don't care about. Like, there was some Lightning Returns stuff in Brave Exvius War of the Visions in the Japanese client because the global client's already shut down.
I see. That's news to me that client's still open. I thought the whole game had shut down.
Yeah, apparently it's still up in Japan, unless it closed in the following 3 months, and I haven't gotten to that yet because this is news from the very end of October.
Well, I'll tell you what, if our recent changes is anything to go by, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis has a much bigger audience than I thought it did. There's a lot of people working on stuff for that game.
Which is weird.
To me there's a lot more... Yeah, there's a lot more enthusiasm for it than any of the other mobile games we've had, really, which is wild to me.
Like, we've played it, and as a game, it's fucking bad.
Unless it's gotten better, and we just didn't notice it, because we gave up on the first week.
True, but, yeah, you know, it's like, okay, what's next? Oh, yeah, the HD 2D remakes of Dragon Quest 1 and 2 came out. Have either of you played that?
No.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, it's Dragon
Quest. It looks pretty, but I haven't played it.
They also added a lot to those remakes. Like, those became huge games. Yeah, Dragon Quest 1 is something that you can knock out in like less than 10 hours. It's a very short game. They apparently just kept adding and adding. There's a whole new party member in Dragon Quest 2. They added so much to these things. Okay, right. We've got Naoki. Wait, no. Yeah, Naoki Yamaguchi has been talking a lot about 7 Remake Part 3. I'm just reading through all this stuff now because this is a bit of an older interview. It's like so this one is from October 30 from Eurogamer. So it's something about.
And the Part 3 name is decided, isn't it?
I think it has at this point. I mean, it better be at this point. They're pretty full into developing the game. Yeah.
They've said the name's decided. So coming to you in 2029, Final Fantasy VII decided.
Oh my god! Damn. Look, I know that sometime, hopefully soonish, because I mean, I still feel like they're really going to want to aim for 2027 because of the 30th anniversary. So hopefully by year's end we'll have heard something, and we'll be disappointed because it wasn't called Revengeance.
I know. Like they need to call it that, man. I'll tell you what, though. After Rebirth, I'm excited for that game to potentially blow me away, because I was excited for Rebirth, and it completely blew my expectations out of the water.
Also, these are goddamn maximalist games. They put everything in these, including things that they probably shouldn't have, but they did anyway.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that it's proof that Square is finally improving on minigames, because Rebirth has a roughly 50% rate of those minigames actually being playable, which is a lot higher than Square usually gets.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know, they actually did a decent job with the minigames for the first time. So, my fiance and I are playing Final Fantasy X, yeah? Right?
Yeah.
We got to the Calmlands, and so I told her, alright, sweetheart, don't worry about playing this part with me, right? I'll just play this part on my own. You can go read or something, because I'm going to be at this for fucking hours, right? And I did the Chocobo Racing one. I beat it. I got the 0.00, but I'd forgotten just how much of a pain in the ass that one was. Fuck me, that was a bad minigame.
I have only, played all the way through Final Fantasy X once. Did fully unlock all the celestial weapons. Somehow I had a really easy time with the chocobos. I don't fucking know how.
Well, do you know why yet? Because it's actually random, right?
Yeah.
When you start the chocobo race, it's random where the balloons will appear. And if the balloons appear in the right spot, you can not easily, but you can get enough of them that you can win it. And if they don't appear in the right spot, then you're guaranteed to lose, basically, because the other race is going to get them all, right? So it's purely down to RNG. So if you had good RNG, you probably got through great. If you didn't, then you just have to reset until you get the good RNG.
Right. So, but also with the minigames and stuff, I'm just going to skip ahead to last week, because last week Hamaguchi was at the big Nintendo store in New York to celebrate the release of Remake on Switch 2, and also Xbox Series X, but who cares about Xbox Series X?
It's got a great reception on Switch 2, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's surprisingly well done. It's not up to the same quality as the PS5 version, which is expected. The Switch 2 is weaker than the PS5, but it handles it very well. Rebirth's going to be the true test, though, because that is very similar graphical quality and also open world model. Which
I don't know how they're going to pull off the Rebirth on Switch 2. But I will say, like, it's so encouraging seeing how well the remake has done on Switch 2. And as I've said numerous times on this podcast, that console never ceases to amaze me in terms of how well it's done.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is interesting because on PC, Remake can run on a pretty crappy computer.
Yeah.
But Rebirth, I had a somewhat slightly old gaming PC that it cannot get past. You cannot play Rebirth on it because you can't get past the burning of Calm because the SSD is just too slow and it just crashes from the amount of times it takes to load one cutscene from the SSD.
Jesus.
Oh.
I don't understand how this PC is not that old. I don't understand how Rebirth PC is this badly optimized. But hopefully it's better on Switch 2.
So anyway, good thing that Remake Part 3 is still going to be on Unreal Engine 4, huh?
Why?
No kidding.
Like, why not just upgrade it?
Because Unreal 5 is awful.
Oh, it is?
Like no, it's not a good engine because they really push all the high fidelity shit into it, and all of those features run like shit.
Oh, see, for a minute there, I thought you were being sarcastic, but fair enough, because I haven't kept up with that. Like, you just assume, new version number, it must be better.
Yeah,
right? That's like, interesting to know that it's actually a piece of shit.
Yeah, because like Rebirth still also has a few problems. I'm pretty sure the engine is like fully worked out the kinks by this point. Some people taking note of how the Switch 2 version of Remake performed did note, yes, that one door is still fixed in this version of the game.
It is?
Yeah. Like for those who don't remember, like the door to Cloud's apartment in the Sector 7 slums. It looks terrible in the PS4 version. Because the original version of Remake did have a few texture streaming issues and stuff and such. So a bunch of stuff came out blurry or popped in at a really stupid time. That was largely fixed in Integrate. I think it might have been completely fixed in Integrate. But yeah, of course, that stuff doesn't come back to the PS4 version because Remake and Integrate are basically different games.
Pretty much, yeah.
But
they've pretty much fixed that since the original release.
But yeah, anyway, these are the two things I want to point out to you because Hamaguchi is talking about minigames and such. Queen's Blood is a very popular and beloved minigame, and I believe a lot of people are still wanting something like that. I want to expand on Queen's Blood so that we are enhancing it and giving you a more powered up version of it when you see that third installment.
Love it.
So more Queen's Blood. I hope we do get something that is more over the top stupid than the ending of the Queen's Blood storyline in Rebirth.
Well, also, like, dare I say it, I wouldn't mind if it gives you more of, like, you know how the old Final Fantasies, there are, like, ultimate weapons and stuff locked behind mini games, and I'm not sure that's necessarily the right approach because that's kind of like a fuck you to the player. It's like, oh, you can be good at all the game's core mechanics, but if you're not good at this non-core mechanic, then we're going to penalize you for it almost, right? I'm not saying they should do it that kind of extreme. But Queen's Blood, in terms of what it rewards you in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, it doesn't reward you a whole lot. I feel like there's some kind of middle ground where it rewards you, like, I don't know, like Knights of the Round or something. Like some kind of summon like that makes the game easier. But doesn't lock, like an ultimate weapon or something behind it. Because I imagine there'll be some kind of... Each character will get a quest for unlocking their ultimate weapon. Or something to that extent.
Right.
It wouldn't bother me if minigames like that were made more rewarding. Because if they're good minigames and they reward you as a player, then that can only be good for the game, really.
Right. So, like, I understand that, but at the same time, these people are very faithful to Final Fantasy VII. And 7 wasn't Final Fantasy X levels of bad, but 7 still had some fucking annoying ways to get ultimate weapons.
Oh, I know. It was quite the quests for all of them, and it's weird because some of them have like really easy quests to get them. Like Tifa's is literally just find the key to sector 5, find the key to Wall Market, and then you can get in like easy. Right?
Like,
and then Cloud is like, go and fight this boss that you have to jump around the map a million times, and then get to him at the very end.
like,
and then, by the way, that unlocks a dungeon randomly.
Actually, I expect Cloud's ultimate weapon in Part 3 is going to be a gimme. And the reason for
Oh, you
that
reckon?
is that the plot changes to Rebirth very heavily tied together the weapons and the huge materia. So I think the weapons are going to be part of the main story in Part 3.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's a good point, though.
yeah. And like, you know, why wouldn't you? Those will be some spectacular set pieces in this game. So, you know, why wouldn't you deliberately draw people to them? You know,
The
I want to fight
question
a
then,
Highwind, man. Go on.
yeah, other than, well, will they still keep Ruby and Emerald as like super bosses? Will there be a super hard version? Also, will they be used as like fucked up Gundams?
I hope so. On both counts.
like,
Right. 'Cause
like
they've
I mean,
actually-
if they took the designs from Final Fantasy 14, I don't think anyone would be disappointed with those.
No. Well, even from a Final Fantasy 15 Kingsglaive, whatever that movie was called, right? They brought the weapons back in that one. It actually looked pretty sweet.
Yeah, but like, I think Catuse might remember one of the memes from when the Ruby weapon was added to 14. It's like, so why did you give it teeth? To protect the tongue?
Oh, right.
Oh, cool. I got a second question.
Okay.
Why does Ruby weapon have teeth and a tongue? And also, why is it that when you pilot it, you get absorbed into the goop and turned into Nail Van Darnus?
Yeah, the weapons are fucked up in 14. I mean, they're
Wait,
fucked up
you
in
can
7, but they're
pilot
even
the
more
weapons?
fucked up in 14. Okay, so you remember the plot of the base game of 14 and the ultimate weapon, right?
Yeah.
So
Vaguely,
the other
yeah.
weapons were created by a faction of the Gallian Empire, the revived 7th Division, because of course the original 7th Division were the ones were the main villains of 1.0. They're the ones who brought Meteor down, and a lot of the divisions of the Gallian Empire are numbered after the game they're referenced to. So the ones doing more shit with the weapons are the revived 7th Division. And so they've made a bunch of mecha based on the ultimate weapon. But they also added a mechanic as sort of like an emergency mode that when the pilot or the weapon thinks it's about to be destroyed, it engages a super mode that kills the pilot, absorbs their soul, and basically turns into this mode where they've been fused with like the memories of a former legatus.
So the pilot's dead? Like the pilot
So
can't...
it kills the pilot, and in Ruby Weapon's case, turns them into Nail Van Darnus. So it basically becomes a repeat of like the final boss of 1.x and the ending of Second Coil, because those were fights against Nail.
Wow.
Yeah, and that arc is sort of like about how Gaius, who turned out to not be dead, his beliefs and such are basically destroying his life. Gaius also like basically ran like an orphanage of war victims that he treated like his children. All of the pilots were orphans that he was raising.
Oh.
Yeah. But by the end of the whole arc, only one of them is still alive, and she's like traumatized. She's mute from all the shock from what happened.
I'm amazed one of them was even able to survive. Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
so anyway, the other quote regarding minigames, snowboarding. This is something that fans have really deep memories about. I'm afraid I can't delve too much into the details, but we understand this is not going to be just a simple snowboarding minigame. We want to make sure that it's incorporated into the story to have that sort of connection with the theming of it.
Oh, there's going to be snowboard races.
Yeah, it's Final
They're going to do
Fantasy VII
something
Remake.
wild with
It's
that.
going to be maximalist. They're going to put so much into it, and I think the only question is how much they're going to lean into how tonally dissonant the placing of the snowboarding minigame was in the original game.
Oh, I know.
It's
I mean, in the
obviously
original. Go on.
Obviously, this is Cloud's like therapy. Like he needs therapy for a ton of stuff, but in particular, the way that he's gonna cope with Aerith's death is gonna be he's gonna be the Tony Hawk of snowboarding. Okay, that's the only way this is gonna work.
God.
Brilliant. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually made the minigame be as intense as like, because you remember when the Tony Hawk games were big and suddenly like Spyro has to have Tony Hawk in it, Jack 2 has to have Tony Hawk in it. Like they put Tony Hawk in like freaking everything. It wouldn't shock me if they did something like that for Final Fantasy VII snowboarding.
Yeah, God. Yeah, that's no matter what it is, it's gonna be kind of insane, really.
Yep. I'm here for every second of it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. I am continuing to look through this list. Oh yeah, I guess kind of obliquely related. Jonathan Bailey, who might be known for people who follow this podcast, the voice of Graha Tia from Final Fantasy XIV, was named People's Magazine Sexiest Man Alive for 2025.
Oh, really?
As God intended.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
Graha Tia is the sexiest catboy alive, so
Yeah. Like there have been several times where we have had to scrub people editing that page to declare him their husbando.
let's see.
Fuck yeah, no.
I mean, let's see. Let me bring up some Graha Tia edits. I mean, we also had an issue where some user named the picture of him eating a hamburger Hanbaga, but that's a side point.
Yeah, God.
Reverted edits. Is this one any good? Stupid cat, also known as stupid idiot. Okay, not that one. Wow, this person really hates Graha Tia. Okay. This is not any good. This person renamed Allegan Eye Pink Eye. And all these revisions, all this vandalism is lame. Graha Tia is the best Final Fantasy XIV character. Okay. This is an info of him. Hi, I love Graha Tia. And then somebody commented, Graha is best boy, but this isn't the place for this. Okay. Yeah, people love Graha Tia, except for the person who kept changing his name to Stupid Cat.
Okay, so anyway, let's move on to fucking stupider move. So Square Enix laid off over 140 people in their international departments and declared that they want 70% of QA to be generative AI by 2027.
Man, if their shareholders believe
QA?
that, I got a bridge to sell them.
Of QA,
yeah. I mean, that's exactly how I feel. Like, and I work in AI now, right? Because I work on the search engine for a grocery store chain that's based in Texas, right? And you can imagine they're trying to put Gen AI in search, and there are some genuine, really good uses for it, where it can really help customers find the products they're looking for, and it can help us internally, find the products that we're looking to serve, and it can help the merchandisers out. There's so many actual good uses for it, but the amount of bullshit that you hear from executives, like, and the amount of hype, right? Like, has anyone seen those videos of those places where they've put a data center there and how the water's fucked up and the power's spiked by like 3 times what it used to cost?
Yeah.
And now you hear all these companies saying, "Oh, to keep up with demand for AI, we're gonna need to double data center capacity every 6 months." I'm like, this shit's not sustainable.
Like,
And,
they
like,
already
how has
can't
no
build
one
that
realized
amount of
this?
shit. Like, I'm pretty sure right now here on January 26th, Australia Day, which I am celebrating by staying the fuck indoors, because why would I want to go outside in January?
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure year to date, there have already been cancellations related for data center construction, the value of which exceed all the cancellations in 2025.
That's not shocking.
Like,
Like,
this
it
is...
genuinely... Go on.
what were you asking?
Well, I was going to say, it seems to me at this point, the only people who love AI that much are either executives in tech or Wall Street people, right? Like, because if you're a financial advisor and you invest in the market, then they're loving it because they're seeing those stocks go up and up and up and up and up, right? Like, all the financial advisors I've talked to are convinced that AI is the real deal. It's really going to be as good as they're promising because look at what the earnings are, right? And then I bring up to them, oh, but have you considered that, it's like companies buying off of each other, and like the general public hates this, and like the dot-com bubble happened, and they just won't hear any of it. And it's really concerning to me how they seem to be convinced that like a lot of the hype is real, and it's just not.
Right, yeah, like, if I can make a recommendation, the writings of Ed Zitron, at where's your ed.at, those he is a very anti-AI person, and he just has repeatedly over the past year or so pointed out every way in which the numbers economically for generative AI make no sense whatsoever. Like, this is a completely unsustainable way of achieving things, and all 3 of us here have software engineering knowledge, right? Like, well, yeah. Like, I know Kat is more maths, but Techno and I we're both computer scientists, and like, we know how this stuff works vaguely. It's almost impossible to know entirely because they've deliberately made a giant black box that even OpenAI and such have no idea how they've made it work.
OpenAI's governance structure also just doesn't make any sense. I mean, maybe that's besides the point, but it's hard to see how they could turn into something profitable or even just in the black while also
like,
being a pile of spinning plates.
So, like, we know this works. It's frankly an evolution of a technology that we're familiar with. We used to have in the Final Fantasy Wiki IRC channel a Markov chain generator that would just randomly go off based on people's posts and make some stuff. A large language model is basically a refined version of that.
It's not real intelligence, is it? Like,
well, no,
it's just no.
Like, real artificial intelligence, I'm doubtful that's a thing.
No.
Like, it's
not yet.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's completely impossible, but this is not the way to get there.
No, it's not real intelligence. It doesn't know anything. It just knows what a real answer might sound like.
Yeah.
And It's gotten better recently in that now it actually looks up, it can actually Google stuff for you. Like it can actually look up on the internet to try and find an answer instead of using what it had saved. So that's why Google's winning the AI race at the moment. It's to their credit. Again, like there's a middle ground between the general public who think it's all bullshit and there's no use for any of it and it's all a scam, and what these like Wall Street guys and tech people think, which is, oh, no, it is the real deal. It's going to replace everyone's job by 2050, and it's going to do this, that, and the other. Right? There's a middle ground wherein, like the dot-com bubble, right? Because the internet did genuinely change the world. The internet genuinely was the biggest innovation, the biggest invention in modern times, easily, right? It's one of the biggest things we've ever done. But there was a dot-com bubble because they realized that a lot of the money that was being put into it wasn't getting the returns, and that a lot of it was hype. But even still, after that bubble, the internet's still massive and arguably become even more important since then. And the same shit is going to happen with AI. There's going to be a crash. There's going to be people are going to hit a wall with it, and they're going to realize, oh, it's not that good. Then everyone's going to panic and freak out. And then after that, we're going to find, ways that AI are used, like internally, for example. There's going to be ways that AI will help, and it won't be this bullshit where they're saying, like, what was it? They're saying like 75% of QA or something will be AI?
Yeah, 70%.
Absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
It's never happening.
Yeah, and okay, so specifically on that Square Enix case, I also say that because this is on the same feed, there's one freelance translator pointing out that correcting problems in the translation is something that Square Enix considers a QA thing.
Fuck.
So
that's
yeah,
not
that's.
QA, man.
I mean, yeah, fixing errors in translation localization is a QA thing, because sometimes it's not just word is wrong. Like that is something that you would raise as a QA flag, but that's also things like you have to change the programming of a game to get the translation in there. Like you have to make sure control codes have been respected correctly. You have to make sure everything actually fits in the correct places. Like, this would be why the Pixel remasters used to have that really terrible font, because that was a font that could basically work with any, Romance or Germanic language. That's without much difficulty, without falling off the side of the text box. And like that would be a problem if you did the minor mod in there to change it to using basically the Neo The World Ends With You font. You could do that by changing some of the Japanese language files to say they're English language files, and that would mostly work. But sometimes it would fall off the side of the screen because it wasn't tested for that kind of thing. So yeah, that is why translation is partially a QA responsibility.
I guess that makes sense.
The other thing I was going to say is that I think that the breakdown of groups and stuff is a bit more nuanced, but kind of beside the point. But also that the reason behind the .com collapse, and I'm going to say imminent AI bubble collapse, because the numbers do not make sense to just build these data centers, and when that happens, the companies that make memory have basically been allocating nearly 100% of their stock to these things. They're going to have problems, and they're just going to cascade throughout the entire tech sector and beyond. It's basically for the same reason. People tried to put the World Wide Web into everything. You don't need the internet for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
You do not need AI for everything. In fact, sometimes putting AI in something makes it worse. Microsoft is a company that turns 30% AI-generated code into no features in Windows 11 fucking working correctly.
Well, yeah, like they did a study where they gave programming tasks to people with AI and without AI, and they found that there's actually a lot of cases where AI can slow you down.
Yeah.
Because if you rely too much on it and it gives you the wrong answer repeatedly,
Yeah.
then that's actually slowed you down versus, just looking it up on Slack Overflow like we used to do back in the day and just finding it that way and doing it on your own.
Yeah, so you know what? Let me talk about my experiences using generative AI with programming projects, because of course, I've dabbled in it a bit because I need to know how it works. So, one incident. This was a little project where you set up an AI agent using Claude, I think, to try and get it to debug code. When I got it, when I followed all the instructions for it, what it ended up doing was insisted that it had fixed the code without actually editing it.
Of course.
Yeah.
It does shit like that all the time, man.
Okay. Second of all, this was a coding exercise in a job interview. I was doing something that was very boilerplate, and the interviewer suggested, okay, well, why don't you get ChatGPT to do it? So, I don't feel like arguing with the interviewer on this, so I open it up, tell it to do something. It basically fights against me over the return type of this boilerplate code that I have specified. It decides that I'm wrong about what I wanted to do and refuses to return the right thing. It might have if I knew more how to massage it, but by that point it had decided, oh, you've used up all your free credits, make an account. I'm not making an account for your fucking thing. Sorry, your product is not worth the money you ask for it.
Well, what used to happen, funnily enough, right? When I was writing the let's bring it back to the wiki for a second. When I was writing some of the Final Fantasy Tactics stuff, I do like to use AI to help me out and copy paste what I've done and said, hey, here's my paragraph. Can you make it shorter? Keep all the wiki text in it, right? Mm-hmm. And in earlier versions of ChatGPT, it was terrible at that. It would take my paragraph and sometimes not understand the context of some of the things that were being said, right? So it would spew back something like, I would tell it something that had happened in the game, like Delita decided to spare what's her name, Valmathra's life, right? I would tell it something like that, and it would respond to me like, Delita decided Valmathra's life was not worth taking, and I'm like, no, that's not what happened. That's completely not why he spared her at all, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes within that, it would still give me some good corrections here and there. It would shorten some sentences that were way too long, and I'd be like, oh, okay, good suggestion. But then it would also come out with some crap, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why you still need a human to be looking at it to know if what it's telling you is right or not. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise it's going to come out with some complete bullshit. And in some versions of it, I would copy paste a sentence, say, keep the wiki text in. And it would reply to me with the same thing with no wiki text. I'm like, and then I'd have to reply to it, say, I said keep the wiki text in. And it says, oh, I'm sorry, here's the version with the wiki text in. And then the same thing it would spew out would still have no wiki text in it. I'm like, fuck you know. I guess it's not that hard to put in a bunch of brackets to link to something. But it's fucking annoying.
But that's another thing. The LLM models that these are sort of being used as a sort of chat interface. They are designed to just fucking suck your dick over every single thing you say.
Yep. Yeah, they're designed to kiss your ass.
I don't want a fucking yes man. It's clear that this thing has been directed on top from the executives, because that's just what an executive wants. They want to look at their checkbook while a bunch of faceless people, oh, you're so right and smart and sexy and totally not contributing to the destruction of civilization.
Yeah, like how you'll ask it something, it will tell you the wrong answer, and you'll reply with actually the wrong answer, and it will say, "I'm sorry, you're correct." You ask it like, "Hey, what's 2 plus 2?" And it'll say, 2 plus 2 is 5. And you'll reply, "No, actually 2 plus 2 is 6." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. 2 plus 2 is 6." Fucking idiot.
Anyway, I did have one more thing that I think you'll find kind of related to the stuff you're complaining about. It's kind of funny. So this was a using an LLM to augment searching for such. And one of the things that's added is like look up popular opinions about this film. Does film describe this stuff? Cite your sources. Instead of actually citing sources, what it did is that it added like the open bracket number close bracket at the end of statements and did not give any indication of what those meant.
That's pretty funny. Now, actually, there was a paper that I recently got a citation. This is a career achievement for me. There was recently a paper that cited me, and I could not make sense of it. I'm convinced that it's AI generated because I don't know anything about algebraic quantum field theory. It's some AQFT paper, and it's like 90 pages long, and it very prominently cites me towards the start. And I was like, okay, this is a career achievement, and AI now thinks that I do algebraic quantum field theory and is hallucinating citations about me.
Hey, that's quality.
Anyway, let me move on. Just see what we have next. Right. A Final Fantasy VII novel got announced. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth: Dear Destiny, written by Nojima about Aerith and Tifa before they set off on their journey, and Cloud's career in Shinra. Releasing this week in Japan.
Yeah, but it'll be a while before we get the English translation of it, which I've read. I'll tell you, I liked because it's a sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake, Tracer 2 Pasts, I think.
Right, yeah.
That's what it's called. Yeah, I enjoyed that book, right? Mm-hmm. I'll say it's miles better than that than On the Way to a Smile was. On the Way to a Smile was honestly like I quit it halfway through because I was like, I'm actually kind of annoyed at the direction of this story. Like specifically, I was annoyed at what they did with like Barrett saying like, you know how Barrett spends literally the whole of Final Fantasy VII saying, we can't be consuming any Mako anymore. We gotta start killing the planet. Mm-hmm, There's one point in the book in Barrett's story where he's like, "Oh, can we consume a little bit of Mako?" I'm like, "Big man, what was your whole character arc about then?"
That seems
what the fuck am I reading?
Bit weird for Barrett. I know that a lot of Barrett's story arc is that he does realize that he's maybe being a bit too extremist and tone it down a bit. But at the same time, he still has to apply violence to the correct ends because he realizes this like the day before they go to kill Sephiroth.
Yeah, he does say there's actually an unused line in the original Final Fantasy VII, right? Which I see why they got rid of it. Mm-hmm. But what he says is, I used to think that, or I used to say that going after Shinra was about the planet, but it's not. It was just about revenge. Right, which I'm glad they removed that line because as it stands with his character, it's a lot more complex than that. You can interpret it one way or another. You can either interpret it and say that that's true, that basically he is only after revenge, or you can interpret it as like he probably genuinely believes in protecting the planet. He's just like it's just kind of a convenient excuse for also a revenge story.
Yeah, and right. I would say Remake is explicitly shifting him towards the former because, like, Barrett, even at the start of Final Fantasy VII Remake, he is a well-read planetologist. He actually knows his stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he doesn't know everything. There's stuff that he has to learn in Cosmo Canyon, but he does actually have some idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So my problem with the book was just, when he does that, it just seems so out of character, right? And I know it's written by Nojima, so he knows his own characters better than anyone else. He literally wrote those characters. But when he did that, I was like, I don't know if I want to continue this book, man. Like, that kind of pissed me off. But then I haven't read the rest of it just yet. I will at some point. But the Traces of Two Past I thought was really, really good. Like, I'm not going to compare it to, like, you know, a really good fiction novel or anything like that. But if you're a Final Fantasy VII fan and you like these characters, it adds a really nice amount to their story. So I'm glad he's following it up.
Right. Yeah. It will, however, still be really funny that after the events of Final Fantasy VII, Barrett gets into fossil fuels.
Yeah, that's like the most confusing part of the. That wasn't from On the Way. Yeah, that was from On the Way to a Smile. Okay, well.
Yeah, it was. Well, with that one, like the whole point, I saw someone say this was like there was supposed to be this irony about the fact that they were coal miners who lost their job to the Mako thing.
Right.
Right. And the irony was supposed to be like, yeah, obviously Mako hurts this planet specifically more than coal mining, which also hurts the planet does as well.
Yeah.
Right. And the irony was, well, they're not much better or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But
also,
yeah, even
still, part of it is that Mako is also a bit of a nuclear allegory, and Japan, for obvious reasons, are a bit wary about nuclear power, even if they use it.
Yeah. Yeah, completely understandable. You can, in a way, like, forgive it based on that. But to me, yeah, like, the idea of him going back to fossil fuels after getting rid of the Mako thing does feel kind of, like, antithetical to the whole message of the game itself. Like, if they at least ended it with, oh, he decided to install the solar farm, I'd understand that. But getting into fossil fuels was like, what was the point of this game then? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, why'd you make a whole game about the importance of protecting our environment? And then the follow up to that game is just kidding, fuck the environment.
The point of the game isn't to protect the environment. The point of the game is to protect jobs in West Virginia.
Yeah, clearly.
Good. Okay, so anyway, next thing. So Square Enix's music department announced a collaboration with Toby Fox for Undertale's 10th anniversary. So
I didn't see that.
So like we got a few T-shirts here, but also the 2 albums. One of them coming out this week is part of Square's various chill remix compilation albums and stuff. But also next month coming out will be an Undertale piano arrangement album by Yoko Shimomura.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like that's I mean Shimomura's piano albums are very good. Like I'm sure anyone who follows Kingdom Hearts stuff will be familiar with several of those arrangements. So let's go on. Oh, yeah, they also announced like a jazz remix album for Final Fantasy IX. There was a Final Fantasy IX exhibition in some place in Japan late last year. Of course, all the stuff that we expected to happen for Final Fantasy IX's 25th anniversary did not happen.
Yes, but you can pose with Excalibur too.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so just have to keep going through. Right, Octopath Traveler 0 came out. I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, same. I got Nothing to say about it.
Yeah. Like, I think I'll probably pick it up next week. Unfortunately, that's not before this episode. I've kind of missed our chance to really talk about it. Whoops. Right. So, I guess this will be next. Final Fantasy XIV patch 7.4 came out. So this is obviously starting to set up the next expansion story. They've turned Calyx into a marketable plushie.
He's Bucky.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, yeah, part of this is that like they're sort of easing people into the new villain faction, the Winterers, of which Calyx is one of them. But because he's still like, oh, I don't want to die ever, so he's finally decided, okay, this body fucking sucks, and it's not really good for hopping between worlds anyway. So I'm going to replace it with something smaller that's easier to move between dimensions and stuff. It's a giant squirrel plushie.
Carried around, of course, by the new waifu.
Yes, the Asian's relative, like the Asian's biggest fail girl. Like God, there's one bit where you see also Calyx's model isn't animated for talking because it's a squirrel plush. So it's just really funny. It's like there's this scene that's very close up on him, not animated at all because he doesn't talk to him about how he said that everyone in this planet is going to die for not listening to us, and it's just focusing on this very still squirrel plush.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But anyway, that was actually pretty good. There's a bit where, like, we've properly gone into the ninth shard, met parts of civilization still existing. There's a bit where they tell us, like, yeah, during the war that caused the storm surge, one of our enemies made basically a train into a lightning powered weapon of mass destruction. So now we can't stop it because the planet's made out of lightning, so that keeps powering it up. And the Warrior of Light is like, fuck yeah, I get to beat the shit out of a train.
Also, Tom Morello's in this patch.
Yes. So, in the live letter with the trailer reveal, Techno, you're probably familiar with the Final Fantasy XIV trailers. Is like around the halfway point, the OST will switch to one of the big boss themes of that patch and go out and they brought a very special attention to this one because, that is the final boss theme for this current raid tier. Everything Burns by Tom Morello.
Oh, interesting.
So what happened is that they actually got gifted that song to use in whatever context they wanted. Is because one of the people who is a mainstay on the Final Fantasy XIV music team, what's his name, Jason Charles Miller, who Techno you probably know as Rules of Nature.
Rules of Nature.
Yeah, yes, that guy. He is a common vocalist on Final Fantasy XIV soundtrack. He's friends with Morello.
Oh, I love that.
He's friends with Morello. He told Morello about this recurring job and what it's like, and about how he works with Masayoshi Soken, who is a big fan of Rage Against the Machine. And Morello just decided to write a song for him. And that's in the game now. Honestly, that raid tier is very stupid, but at the same time, the ending of it, you get to beat up a dragon to a Tom Morello song, and then your friend Akuma, who you thought was dead, imbues you with the power of fire, which gives you the ability to drop kick the dragon in the face. It rules.
That's WWE has been in years.
Yeah, that's WWE, baby. There's more stuff coming. As of when we're recording tomorrow, actually, that's the next significant patch. But yeah, we picked a really great time to come back from our unintentional hiatus. Okay, so let's keep going. Right, there's mention of Final Fantasy XI here, so there was something I had at some point that I need to look for now because I don't think it's actually in this feed. I'm pretty sure I
Final
linked it at
Fantasy
some
11?
point.
I
Yeah.
will look it up then.
Like, there's something
Final
that
Fantasy
is.
11.
It's November 18th. Final Fantasy. No Ride Caller. Final Fantasy XI sweeping changes is proof the game will never die.
Yes, this one. So basically, they've been announcing a bunch of changes to Final Fantasy XI, and the reason for this is they have finally stopped developing the game on PlayStation 2 dev kits. Like, to be clear, this game hasn't been compatible with the PlayStation 2 for years now, but it was still such an essential part of their dev pipeline that it basically still had to be a PS2 game, and that limited what they could do. They basically couldn't add anything to the game anymore. They've stopped doing that, and that means they can add more. They can also use more modern tools. One thing they brought examples to: look, we can use Blender for this game now. They were they're bringing us into the modern day, I guess.
It's wild that the game is still as popular as it is when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But fair play to them. Although I do think that unless it's shut down, I can't see Square Enix handling 3 MMOs.
Well, they do. Dragon Quest X.
Sorry, 3 Final Fantasy MMOs. I stand corrected.
Yeah. So anyway, the Game Awards happened. Unsurprisingly, to literally everyone, Claire Obscure won every single category it was nominated for.
Yeah. I want to stop. I want to play that game soon. I just bought it. Right. I bought that and I bought Final Fantasy 16. And in a future podcast, I'd love to talk about it because I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
Like, I after that demo was not a good demo, right? Because the demo only shows you like the first couple hours of the game where the combat is still really limited, and at that point I thought, oh, I'm just not going to get on with this combat system at all. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy the game. I'll wait till it goes on sale. I wish they'd show me like a little bit later of it. This is I'm thoroughly enjoying this game so far. I mean, I guess, we'll see what happens near the end, but I'm enjoying it.
That's a bit surprising because from my experience, people loved the demo.
For me, like, the demo put me off. Like, or at least I didn't get on with the combat system at all. I was like, I'm just worried I'm not going to enjoy the game. So I didn't play it. The only part of the demo I really liked was the Icon fight, the Ifrit versus Phoenix, right? And yeah, Icon fights are still brilliant in the actual game itself. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the game so far. It's not. I don't know if it's even going to be in my top 10 Final Fantasies, but that's not saying a lot because I love the Final Fantasy games, and it is in my top 10 PS5 games. I'm really enjoying it so far.
So I will say I think most of the problems people have with Final Fantasy 16 are backloaded.
Yeah, near the end of the game. Yeah, that's
like it's very. I think it's very much the Odin arc that gets most of the shit, and I can't say that is undeserved because Barnabas Odin just does not feel like a very compelling villain, to be honest.
Yeah, well, so I'll find out, but I'm gonna be honest. Like, I played Mass Effect 3 when it came out. There is no way you can get an ending that's possibly worse than that.
No,
like, every time I've gone back to Mass Effect 3 a few times, even with the updated ending, And I remember when the updated ending came out, I was like, okay, they've listened to us. Thank you for that. But every time I go back to it now, I'm like, no, the updated ending is still crap.
Like, Mass Effect 3, I can't even finish Mass Effect 1. I do not... I mean, if people know me, they know I have a kind of bias against Western RPGs anyway. I just don't like how they're usually structured. But also, you know what? I'm going to say this outside observer to the United States. I do agree with Chris that Mass Effect are some of the most fucking W. Bush coded games ever written.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard that before.
Like
that's an interesting way of putting it.
Here's the summary of the first game. Some aliens attack, kill a bunch of humans. You are the most specialist human to ever have specialed, and it's your job to go and hunt down this alien that did a sort of terrorist thing, despite maybe the objections of all the other alien races.
Yeah, when you think about it like that.
N7 is the United States and the Citadel is France.
The Cult of the Operator really has taken off.
Yeah.
I maintain that that's a good series of games, or specifically the first 3 are. I can't speak to Andromeda because I never played it. But I maintain that those are good games, especially the second one. But Mass Effect 3's ending, like... don't ever complain about the ending of any video game if you've played Mass Effect 3's ending, because that ending is so bad. Like it's genuinely atrocious. It's such a slap in the face to everyone who's played the games up till that point.
Yeah, like, and you know what happened,
as bad
because
as
it's 16's...
Go on.
You know what happened there, because it's a general case of the writer being upset that they didn't outsmart the people reading their work. People figured out the ending and they scrambled to change the entire thing.
Yep.
Any such cases.
It was just awful.
Yeah.
It's just...
Here's the thing. 16... People being able to figure out your plot when you've actually, set up a complicated puzzle, that's good writing.
Yeah.
Like, that is the difference between... something where, people actually want to figure your thing out, and they can, because you've been leaving good breadcrumbs of what the actual solution is there, and then so it drives speculation, it drives actual interaction. It's something that makes your work more well known. It's sort of the difference between good writing and J.J. Abrams writing. There's a puzzle here. I'm not actually going to fucking solve it.
That's exactly what I was thinking as you were saying that. Was like, I feel like so many writers fall into that trap of, oh, let me be surprising, right? Instead of let me write properly.
Yeah.
And the Star Wars sequel trilogy is like the perfect example of that. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I will respect the Last Jedi for telling the puzzle box to go fuck itself.
In a way, yeah, like that is respectable.
I mean, that's it. Ryan Johnson very clearly disagreed with J.J. Abrams' style of storytelling and seek to diffuse so much of that. And then, for whatever reason, they decided to bring Abrams back, and he gave answers to the questions that were significantly worse.
And then, I mean, that was the problem, wasn't it? Was that, if they just stuck with one of the visions, then maybe it could have worked. But for them to just go like back and forth with that was terrible. That was a shocking decision. But yeah, so as bad as 16's ending might be, and I haven't heard great things about it, I'd be astonished if it's anywhere close to as bad as Mass Effect 3's ending.
So anyway, the Game Awards, there was one win here. The Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles won Best Strategy/Sim, which honestly, based on what was nominated, is a bit of a weird category, but yeah, it's deserved. That is an excellent remake, and it's even the base version is still one of the best strategy games out there.
Yeah, it's a brilliant game. It's just, I don't know if it's like kind of cheating if you're remaking an old game in a way, but that aside, I mean,
you've witnessed previous Game of the Year episodes on this podcast. I don't count that. The Game Awards basically has no rules,
Yeah.
which is why you tend to come into a nominations like that doesn't even make any fucking sense because there's basically no
Yeah.
sanity checking in the nomination process. So so some genre awards just have the most bizarre picks ever. And I mean, strategy/sim is going to commonly be one of those victims because those are actually two different genres and they don't mesh together as well as you think they do.
Yeah.
Like, should the remake of Final Fantasy Tactics be in competition with some hospital sim? Probably not.
Probably not. No, it's not really fair. But look. I mean, Final Fantasy Tactics: Ivalice Chronicles. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's so good. It's just like the original was a truly incredible game. But if you're like me and you struggle to appreciate it because of how difficult it was, or because of some like annoying moments in it in terms of difficulty, this game fixes basically every problem with that. And on top of that, gives you, in my view, really good voice acting. And I've done the script for this game or transcribed the script for this game compared to the original, and I don't think there's any controversy with anything they've added to it. I think they've just fleshed the characters out and just improved on an already incredible game. So
right.
I can't recommend it highly enough. It's so good.
Yeah. So I mean, nothing really to add there. I mean, I think we'll run back to Game of the Year topics later because this is our first episode since Game of the Year, so we might want to talk about our own taste of 2025. But anyway, still scrolling through stuff. All right, Final Fantasy 14 thing. There was a bug with the patch. In Coerthas, Western Highlands, there was this bug that had made a bunch of glitch mobs show up. They're basically just a bunch of antelopes, which is a kind of enemy that's supposed to be there, but they were level 1, had no nameplate. So naturally, people went on pilgrimages to go see these things. Let me just grab the Nova Crystallis post I'm looking at that reminded me of this. Post is in here. I know a lot of people who are convinced that what probably happened is that they're adding content for the Beastmaster job, which is supposed to be added sometime 7.5 probably, and accidentally let some stuff out into the game early before it's ready. And it surprisingly took a while for this glitch to disappear. Like, they have the first hot fix about a week later, and it doesn't get rid of the mobs. So people think, wait, are they actually supposed to be there? And then the second hot fix, it finally went away. It's like, damn it! It was actually supposed to go. It was actually not supposed to be there. Rip.
Rip indeed.
Yeah. Anyway, let's continue to go through. Shortly after Octopath Traveler 0 came out, they announced that the entire Octopath series had sold over 6 million units.
Wow.
I mean, Champions of the Continent wouldn't count there, so that's 1, 2, and 0.
Well, I wonder which the most popular was then. But that's impressive for like a very old style of game. It's another game I want to check out. Octopath 2 is because I've heard good things about it. But that's really impressive for these types of JRPGs to still be doing as well as they're doing. Fair play to them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's been any HD 2D game that's been outright bad.
Yeah, I think like the worst I've heard from any of them is that they're unremarkable.
Yeah,
And that's that doesn't mean they're
parts
bad.
of Octopath 1 structure are a bit half-baked. Like, the final
Yeah, I
boss
get.
of the story that explains how every single part of the story was connected probably should not be in a side quest.
That's a little bit stupid.
Yeah, Octopath 2 did a lot better with that. And well, I have not played Zero yet, so
I do wonder though, between the success of that series, the success of the Persona series, and the success now of Claire Obscure,
mhm.
I do wonder if they're gonna rethink the whole turn-based thing, or specifically the whole not doing turn-based anymore, right?
Mhm.
Because that and like I don't want to say 16 was unsuccessful because I've said here, like from every number I've seen, it did fine. It just wasn't like it didn't break the bank. It didn't blow everyone away. It did fine from everything I've read. But I do get the sense that they might either go say, okay, we need to stop with the high expectations. We're going to break the bank this time because we're not that series anymore, right? And go for another what's it called? Active time battle system or turn based or whatever they want to do again with 17. Or if they say, no, this time we've figured out how to have the blockbuster break the bank game and we're going to try and do an action based thing again. Like, look, if they do that, I hope you do the 7 remake combat system because that one was great. But I do wonder if they should consider for Final Fantasy 17 doing a turn-based one again, because clearly there's still a market for it. And clearly, I think they'd have more success going for a niche than trying to go for a mass audience, because I don't think going for the mass audience has really helped them that much.
The thing is, if they don't do a pure action game, they're going to do an ATB action game. Because,
Yeah,
I mean,
which is good. I like those.
just to be, to blunt, 14, 15, 16 have all been B-team iterations of the series. The main team during that time, they went from the PlayStation games to Final Fantasy X, then did 10-2 while B teams did 11 and 12. Then they did the 13 trilogy while there were B teams on 14, 15. And then they did then they moved on to the 7 remake trilogy, while B teams
Yeah, which has
did
been
16. 16, depending on timing, may also be doing 17. And
Yeah,
if you haven't noticed the pattern there is a very clear line of evolution from the PlayStation games to 10-2 to the 13 trilogy to the 7 remake trilogy. Those are all iterations some bigger, some smaller, but they're all iterations on the gameplay system that they started on in 4.
yeah, you can clearly follow it from. I mean, you could say 10 was kind of a deviation because of it being pure turn based and not ATB at all.
Yeah.
But even then, when you go to 10-2, that one is ATB.
Yeah.
Right. 13 very clearly ATB. 7 remake in a way an evolution on ATB.
Yeah.
So that is a fair way of looking at it.
So that would be my expectation, that after the main team, after Studio 1 is done with 7 Remake Part 3, the next Final Fantasy game they work on, be it 17 or 18 or whatever else, that is going to be another ATB action game, because that is what the main Final Fantasy team want to do.
I think that's a fair way of looking at it. I think that seems very logical to me, that that's what they'll end up doing. And I think if they do that, I'd love that. That would be brilliant. But I am kind of interested to see if one of the B teams would go back to pure ATB as well, whether it's for 17 or 18 or whatever it is. because you're looking at the success of all these games that are turn-based now,
Yeah.
and there's clearly an audience for it. And I wonder if there's not an executive that's looking at, oh, Claire Obscure just won Game of the Year by doing turn-based. Well, we thought turn-based was dead. Maybe we should give it another shot. Right?
But here's the other thing. Those B-Team sequels, those are now under Studio 3. Like, the B-Team is like Tactics 11, 12, 14, 15, 16. With the exception of 15, everyone who worked on those games is now under Naoki Yoshida. And Naoki Yoshida is of the belief of shaking things up to make a point. Like he said once, if you give me Final Fantasy 17, a game that I'm not on, you give that to me, I'll make it sprite-based.
Mm.
He wants to shake things up, do different things. And that could also include going back, because, like he said, sprite-based.
I kind of love that, to be fair. I thought it's such a nice little thing in 16 in the menus where you have the character sprites. I'm like, that's such a cool little nod to the older games, man. Like, I really respect them for that.
Like, it's cute, and also with stuff that they need to do anyway, because otherwise Record Keeper would run out of material.
Yeah. And fucking all the bravest.
Oh god. Well, all the bravest doesn't exist anymore. They erased it from existence.
What are you on about? It never existed.
Okay, so anyway, other stuff. Toshiyuki Itahana, who was an artist on Final Fantasy IX, among others, he has left Square Enix and gone freelance.
Yeah.
Not much we can talk about. Okay, right. Towards the start of 2026, Square announced that the Ivalice Chronicles had sold 1 million.
Fair play.
And I saw...
But we need to pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
And, I saw interviews with them that's like... The 3-year sales expectations for this game, we met in 3 months.
So we finally exceeded expectations.
I mean, that's the thing. Sales expectations are almost entirely a function of budget. It's like, you put this much money into it, you are expected to, increase the value of the company by more than the average of the Japanese stock market over the period of time you worked on it.
Yeah, I mean, I look at that 1 million sales number and I think more people need to discover this game, man.
Yeah.
It's too good to go as an undiscovered gem.
Yeah,
but if that's blowing their numbers out of the water internally, that's a great thing in my eyes.
Yeah, well, that is just the general point there. If Square ever wants more realistic sales expectations, they have to do smaller, cheaper, faster games, probably with more asset reuse, which is something they should be doing anyway.
More asset reuse, and also I don't know. There's just been this thing with Final Fantasy, I guess ever since 7, that it has to have the best graphics ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that Final Fantasy fans have ever really agreed with that. But to be fair, I do think we're going to, especially in the next console generation, we're going to have clearly hit a wall with how much better the graphics could get.
I think we've already hit a wall. The
Probably,
PlayStation,
I think that's fair.
The PlayStation 5 is graphically not significantly more impressive than the PlayStation 4. Its advances were almost entirely in more technical aspects. Being able to load a game faster allows you to make a bigger game.
Yeah. So if they don't focus as much on that, then maybe they can budgets are never going to go down, but if they can grow at a smaller pace and they can release the games faster, like you said, that's good news.
Okay, yeah, let's see. Continuing to go through stuff. Yeah, there's been a remake of Dragon Quest VII that's come out. I don't know much about that. Oh god, yeah. Life is Strange is still somehow getting new games. I thought the previous one like bombed harder than usual. Right, so oh boy, we're getting very close to the Monday. It's like, oh boy, Ever Crisis.
New
So-
Ever Crisis story update. Oh boy.
yeah, Ever Crisis appears to have gotten to the end of Crisis Core, and I've seen people complain about it, which is nothing new for Ever Crisis. I think
Yeah.
I think they changed the ending in a way that people don't like. It's more of an aesthetic thing than an actual story change. But and also they're teasing an event for the Dirge of Cerberus plot, which means they're probably going to half-ass it because they did that for Advent Children, and it was basically here's a couple scenes from the movie Go Fight Bahamut Sin several times.
To be fair, if they did full ass Dirge of Cerberus, would we be able to tell the difference?
Look, I think people need to know the full story about Vincent getting cucked.
We must know about Vincent and Hojo's sex lives. Ever Crisis. I mean, I don't play Ever Crisis, but when I look at the wiki articles about it, it always seems like a pretty horny game. So we got to double down on that and make Hojo the sex symbol of 2026.
Oh dear God. So anyway, I think we're caught up to the present now. But considering that this is the first episodes in 3 months, we kind of skip Game of the Year stuff. Let's talk about Game of the Year. What I didn't give a list of potential, so Catuse, Techno, what is your Final Fantasy Game of the Year 2025?
It's an easy choice for me. It's easily Ivalice Chronicles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's a whole lot of competition here.
Yeah.
It feels like cheating because it's just a slight remake of something that came out like close to 30 years ago. But it's also like the best Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, like I mean, people. I mean, I don't think people would seriously suggest Final Fantasy 14 for last year. Like the competition is like Player Obscure, which I haven't played. Techno hasn't played. I don't think you've played Catchues.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so like we can't really comment that much on that one. So yeah, obviously the Ivalice Chronicle seems like the main answer. However, I am going to be a bit weirdly against the grain and say, despite the fact that this game isn't really finished yet, we've only got half of it. My Game of the Year for 2025 in general was Deltarune.
Oh, okay.
Like that was chapters 3 and especially 4 of Deltarune were a fantastic experience, and I feel like kind of gets what I like about this genre. And also, Jesus Christ, over this past decade or so, Toby Fox has permanently altered my sense of humor. There's a bit in chapter 3 that is like a punchline to a gag that was set up in that chapter as part of a running gag that you only get if you encountered a specific NPC by going backwards in a room at chapter 1. And it is still one of the funniest fucking things I've seen in a video game that made me just like stop for 5 minutes because I was laughing too hard. God. And also just I really do like how they kind of screw with a bunch of expectations with the genre and sort of call into call into question how, what the protagonist is, how it's different from a player character, and so much and so forth. I really like Susie. She's a great character, and the more they focus on her, the more it's clear that it's her story, and it is. And it is great seeing her develop over the course of the game, and it's only half done. And I just love everything about this game. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I love to hear that. I guess like if I'm to give a speech, quote unquote, for either of these chronicles, like all I'll say is that for the longest time I'd always heard good things about the original game, but I'd never been able to fully enjoy it because I'm not good at strategy RPGs.
Right.
I'm not good at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd always get stuck at stupid points. I'd always not know who to level up in terms of jobs. I'd not know anything about how to build my party properly. And the plot is when you zoom out, the plot's actually not that complicated, but there's a lot of details in it, right? Because it's I will say now, having played it fully and having really delved into the story and the writing, it's easily the best written game in the series. I think maybe in terms of writing, the only one that really comes close is probably 10. Honestly, I mean, I obviously love the story of 7, so maybe that comes close too. But Tactics just has the best writing in terms of it has characters that are really interesting. It has really good themes in it that are done really well. The setting is excellent. There's so much detail in it. And then you get to the gameplay, which is so addicting, especially in this version, because there's just so many endless ways you can customize your party and customize how you go about things, right? And the game rewards you at the very end by saying, hey, all that stuff that you've been building toward this whole time, so you don't actually need that. Here's a cheat code. He's called Sidolphus, Thunder God Sid, right? And he'll just win every fight for you. So you don't actually need any of that. But thanks for building it up anyway, right? And it's just such a nice little reward for when you get to near the end of the game to just give you that and give you all these overpowered characters that in the original versions, for example, Cloud was crap. In the new version, there's actually a cheat with him that makes him pretty good, right? It's if you get that ability that speeds up your casting, Swift Cast, I think it is, then all of a sudden his abilities become useful, and now they're actually kind of broken.
Yeah. Also, he actually has a good weapon in this version because in the earlier versions you had to go find the materia blade, and it's not that good. This version, he starts with the blade, and where you used to get the materia blade, you get the materia blade plus, which is actually useful for him because it is partially a magic weapon. And his good attacks are all magic.
Yeah. They just everything that was great about the original, they improved on by adding really good voice acting. Right, some of the best voice acting in the series since 12. And because for example, I think 7 Remake, the voice acting for the main characters is easily the best voice acting in the series, but the voice acting for the NPCs not so much. Whereas Tactics is just good voice acting for basically everyone, right? So I think it has the best voice acting in the series since 12. They added depth to the characters that now have a lot more lines now, and that just fleshes them out a lot more. They have more entries in the encyclopedia in the game, which as a wiki writer I love it, but just as a fan of the game, you just have to enjoy how much more fleshed out everyone is now. They took everything that was great about the original and enhanced it, and then everything that was maybe not so great and that people struggled with, you can run away from fights now. The quality of life changes just make it so much easier to play and easier to understand what the hell you're doing with the game. So it has made me fall in love with this game to the point where I can't even argue with anyone who says it's the best Final Fantasy now. Before I would say, yeah, it's good, but have you considered Final Fantasy 6? Have you considered 12? Have you considered 7? Have you considered XYZ? Have you considered 9? Right? And they'd say, no, trust me, Tactics is the best one. And I'll be like, I don't really understand what you're on about. Like, yeah, Tactics is good, but it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, it doesn't have that. No, I think there's a very, very strong case for Tactics as the best one. I'm not going to say it's my favorite, but it's in my top 5 easily now. So Ivalice Chronicles for me, like, there were 2 remakes of 2 very good video games that came out within a month of each other. I thought Metal Gear Solid 3 remake is I've just finished that completely. I've done one of those no one sees you and you don't kill anyone playthroughs. That is similarly, like, it just takes everything about the original that's great, makes it even better, and then adds a bunch of like modern day changes that make the game so much more playable now and so much more fun now, right? And that would go down as, like, if we're going down for my personal game of the year, it's that. But in terms of what is the Final Fantasy of the year, for me it has to be Ivalice Chronicles. Like, and this is in a year where there was so many, like, this is in a year where there was some in Clair Obscur, there was some really good competition. I have yet to play Clair Obscur. I might come back to you in a couple months and say I'm changing my Final Fantasy of the year because that actually beats it.
Yeah,
But
this
short
is
of
a
that-
bit of a messy one because we haven't played Clair Obscur, we haven't played Octopath Traveler 0. It's like, wait,
That's the only thing.
that's the main competition.
But short of those,
Yeah.
Ivalice Chronicles wins.
Yeah. Anything you want to add, Kat?
No, I was just gonna say I did say I thought it was kind of perverse to pick Ivalice Chronicles because I have not played Clair Obscur yet, but I do think there's a certain amount of so aside the gameplay has a lot of good depth, but something I should point out is there's a certain level of like baseline competence in the writing of tactics even before it was even before the remake added a bunch of stuff. It just feels like it is not there in a lot of video games. It's just kind of sad. I mean, you've all seen the meme of like AAA Mario.
Oh yeah.
At some point, at some point, video game writing became its own sort of genre. That Final Fantasy Tactics manages to escape from, and not that many games do. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say that Techno didn't already say.
I would even accuse some parts of Final Fantasy 16 of having that kind of writing that's just not. That seems more like coming up with some sort of quippy justification of doing what you're currently doing instead of actually giving characters motivations and stuff.
Yeah, I think
14 does it sometimes. A lot of games do it.
The other thing I'll say is it says a lot about a remake where the people who like the original aren't saying, "Oh, you ruined that," or like, "Oh, you messed that one up." Like, especially with, you think about Final Fantasy VI Advance, like, there's so many people who got mad at some of the Woolsey lines that got changed, right? Or who think that the added content was unnecessary or makes it too easy, right? You think about, like, there's been so many remakes of Final Fantasy games. Yeah, I mean, there's still a number of people. I don't think it's that big, but there's still a sizable number of people who think the 7 remake series is a sin and should never have existed, and they should have left the original alone. I have not seen a single person complain who loved Tactics and who Tactics is like one of their favorite games. I've not seen a single one of them say, "Oh, you ruined this about the game," or "This was messed up," or "You didn't do this properly." Like, I don't know if there's, like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Kat, but I don't know, like, I think some people might have already been upset with the War of the Lions translation, and this kind of, like, didn't make it worse, so to speak, but that aside, like, I have not seen a single person say, "You should play the original instead." and that goes to speak volumes for how good the remake is.
Well, I mean, if there are people out there who are defending the PSX translation over the War of the Lions translation, those people are very silly. Yes,
Yeah.
War of the Lions is very flowery. However, it does not have great dialogue like surrender or die in obscurity. 2 minutes later. If you had surrendered, you wouldn't have died in obscurity.
But yeah, some people will complain about archaisms and such, but at the same time, Matsuno himself loves the War of the Lions translation. He considers that to be like the kind of thing he's actually writing, because it's not like in the Japanese version of the game, they're talking like late 20th, early 21st century people in Tokyo. They are actually using somewhat antiquated terms and such. This blew over at one point when people got mad at the translation of Unicorn Overlord for sounding too archaic, and they would then try to use Matsuno's games as an example of how it's bad. And Matsuno's like, actually, I loved the translations of my games.
That's interesting. And while we're on the subject of translations and dialogue, the Ivalice Chronicles adds my favorite line of dialogue that I've ever seen in a video game in a long time. I've repeated it. I've said it on a previous episode, and I'm going to repeat it because it's my favorite. Right. Marquis Elmdor, when you fight him, he says, "I dare say your victories over Cardinal Delacroix and Wiegraf have left you brimming with confidence. Why negotiate when you can simply strike us down? That is your thinking, is it not?" I'm sorry, but that's just brilliant. Like he basically says like what's happening and what is happening to you in the game. That's pretty much what's happening, isn't it? Like Ramza, he's going to all these bad people, right? All the people that are involved with the church. And instead of they're all trying to explain to him like, no, you should join us. We're trying to change the world. We're actually playing 4D chess here. Like, you should be on our side. And he basically just slaps them all up. And here's that line of dialogue that kind of reveals all that's happening. I'm like, that's fucking genius, but it also makes you feel so powerful as a player that you realize oh shit, I've just gone to all these literal demons and beaten them all up, right? I'm on a real quest here. Like, maybe it's only me that loves that line, but I just love that.
Well, there is an interesting sort of paradox where, yes, you have the usual JRPG power fantasy of attacking and dethroning God. But yeah. I think it was Yuan Cho-san who said something like, Final Fantasy Tactics has a deeper understanding of player agency than most games, because it is not a power fantasy. Because no matter no matter what Ramza does for the lower classes, no matter what he does to fight off evil, sexy Jesus, he just becomes more and more ostracized and more of an outcast from society. And so it's not like you're...
Yeah.
It's not like a lot of video games where you just get glazed the whole time.
Yeah. And Ramza does get an ending that is happy for him. And hell, Vagrant Story even basically goes on to say that those who fought against Ultima were ultimately vindicated. But yeah, by the end of Tactics, it is basically just him and his sister and nobody else. But he's content with that.
And I think everyone who joined him, right?
Oh, so, right. Yeah, tacking on how the Ivalice Chronicles also, does clarify that everyone lived. But in the original version, it was only Ramza and Alma.
Well, even that, that was still... I don't think that was 100% clear, right? You could interpret it as he just had a vision of them.
Right. That was an interpretation, but that's also one thing that Matsuno tends to be very clear. All the main characters lived. Both Delita and Ovelia survived that last scene, and it's still not a happy ending for them because they basically both live in fear that the other one is just completely sick of them and they're going to kill each other. It never happens.
Yeah,
they both die of old age, but they live the rest of their lives in fear of each other.
Yeah.
So anyway, is there anything else anyone wants to add? We've actually only taken about an hour 40 on this. I thought this was going to be a lot longer.
Is there anything we want to
Good
talk
for us.
about the state of the wiki since it's a new year?
Oh, we could do. Who wants to go
Briefly,
first?
I feel like we should say something about the tactics coverage, and then if anything else is going on, I feel like that's like, if you look at the recent changes, it's mostly tactics coverage and also like whatever's going on in Ever Crisis today.
Yeah. Also, there's been still a bit of rebirth as that's basically been a forever hell project, because that's a huge game. It takes a while to actually.
Oh, it's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mostly where we're at. Really, is like, I'm really grateful for a lot of people who have joined to help us out with the Ever Crisis stuff, because that's one of those endless games. But I've seen a lot of enthusiasm for that game that I didn't expect in terms of how well it's been covered. Because I honestly, like, when we played Ever Crisis, as in us working on the podcast, we all gave up on it after a couple of weeks because we weren't really enjoying it very much. But there's clearly a strong community behind it, and that's shown in the fact that there's a lot of people who have added a lot to it. So anyone who wants to work on Ever Crisis is brilliant. For those who don't want to work on it, you can enjoy the coverage of it. I hope we're doing a good job. From what I've seen from them, they seem to have their heads screwed on and they seem to know what they're doing. I'm obviously around to help anyone if they need it. As for the tactics coverage, yeah, that's still going really well. We had a couple people who helped out and a couple people who like returned to help out. Basically, they did a really good job with the tactics stuff. I myself have focused a lot of my energy there. So a lot of the old pages have been like largely rewritten. We've got transcripts fully done of both the Ivalice Chronicles and the War of the Lions script. I'd love someone to contribute an original PlayStation script, because I think that would be cool to have. But I don't think it's as essential, which is why I haven't personally done it.
It would certainly be interesting, because I know people riff on the tutorial a lot, but also the translation of the PSX version just really starts to fall apart the further you get into Chapter 4. It's not that coherent.
So I'd love if someone did that, but I'm not personally working on that. I will be working on locations for that game soon. We've got the event pages written. If someone wants to write walkthroughs for those, that would be great. But so that'll be where most of our energy will go. I'm thinking, like, from a personal capacity, I can see myself working on Final Fantasy IX just because there's murmurings of a remake happening, and so I want to be prepared if there is one. But otherwise, my energy will be mostly there, and I'm gonna try and get 7 Rebirth stuff done hopefully before an Xbox version comes out or a Nintendo version comes out, because that's gonna be big. So those are the 3 areas I'm personally focusing on. And those are the areas that it seems like our editors are at, is tactics in Ever Crisis. And yeah, as usual, we love every contribution and every contributor who've really done a lot to make this wiki what it is over 2 decades now, I think, that it's been going. Well, we're about to turn 2 decades old this year.
Yeah, we've been 2 decades old, I think.
I mean, I can just check the page history of the homepage, and
yeah, that will tell you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that will be. That was 14 March 2005. So
yeah. So we're about to turn 21 in a couple months.
Yeah,
the wiki's old enough to drink in the United States of America now.
Already old enough to drink everywhere else, but
everywhere else we're old enough to drink, but yeah. So exciting times, good times for the wiki, and honestly, I'd say good times for the series, because look, like, for those, I had my little complaints about 16 and it not being the Final Fantasy I wanted. Having played it, I really enjoy it.
Mhm.
I don't know if I want every single Final Fantasy to be like this.
Oh, of
but
course.
if everyone now and again is like this, I don't mind because it's a good game.
Mhm.
You know, as we said earlier in the podcast, Final Fantasy Tactics Ivalice Chronicles exceeded their sales expectations, which is brilliant news for anyone who liked that game. 14, as far as I can tell, is still going strong. And 7 Remake just smashed it on Nintendo Switch too. So that's all really exciting news for us as Final Fantasy fans. So we're in a good spot, and we should be happy as a fan base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's of course, with a new major release, which we classified the Ivalice Chronicles as, there's a bit of a site redesign, and I feel like compared to previous ones, that went pretty smoothly. We already had most of the code in place this time, and making the site look more like a Ivalice Chronicles menu is a very simple one. Some stuff like the kind of the two default boxes, which are like 7 remake and 14, are both pretty complicated code, honestly. And they're nice, but sometimes there's something to have with simplicity. There will probably be another site redesign coming this year because Final Fantasy 14 version 8.0 should be this year. We will be having the reveal of 8.0 shortly. I need to double check what the date of FanFest Anaheim is now. Lodestone. Please hurry the fuck up. It is 25th of July. So wait, no, that's Berlin because I was looking at the EU site. I need to switch to the US site. That's April 24. That's April 24 for Anaheim. July 25 for Berlin, and the Japanese site does not appear to be showing its date, which is a bit weird because it should be. It's sometime this year, so version 8.0 will either be late this year or very early 2027, probably late this year, and I get to experiment with a bunch of stuff again, and hopefully not break the site in the process.
Yeah, that'll be fun. It'll be fun.
But like,
remake.
I'm happy with what we managed to turn up for Tactics because that should be pretty simple, and it was, and it works quite well. Less stuff that I've had to screw with than usual.
It does, yeah. I've switched to light theme since we've done that, and I'm enjoying light theme a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll still be here, still be making stuff, and hopefully next year I'll still be in the same position to just continue to make stuff.
It's not nearly as important actually, but nominally I feel like I should mention we hit 50,000 articles this year.
Hey.
And yeah, it's not as impressive as it sounds because a lot of that is Final Fantasy 14 quest pages. But
true. But for the longest time as a wiki, I think we had like definitely before I showed up, we had this really good instinct of don't create too many pages that are just going to be like tiny little pages that don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Which is a good place to start from. But I felt like we were a bit too conservative in making new pages. Like, for example, we didn't used to have pages per ability per game. And the thinking was, well, how much can you say about an ability? As it turns out, quite a bit. So in some cases, those are good pages to write. And as it turns out, pages for quests are quite good to have. So I would say, like, our old instinct I appreciate it because it meant that we didn't spam the wiki with like useless bloat pages that a lot of other wikis do have. But I'm glad that we're now saying that there's a nice little middle ground between like don't make pages for the fuck of it and like, you know, have a giant page for every instance of Firaga in every game and just tell everyone to go to the section for that game on Firaga instead of just making a Firaga page for that game.
Right. I mean, the thing is, like, I don't think those pages have shrunk significantly, those recurring appearance articles. So really, we've just been going further in depth into the games, talking about their mechanics more, which is an improvement. It's what we should be doing. We're a bunch of fucking nerds. We like numbers here.
Exactly. That's what we do.
I think it is still true that our like most visited page is like bizarre Final Fantasy 12 or something.
Yeah, that's probably high up there. Let me just bring up the analytic page now.
It's either that or Monster Arena, you know. Like, it might be Monster Arena.
I don't remember that one ever being that high, honestly, but
Oh no?
Okay, here's our current list of top views, which some of these are going to be expected, some of them aren't, but like top viewed page is the home page.
Yeah.
Then Final Fantasy Tactics jobs.
Yeah.
Then the first game's bestiary.
Really?
That's strange, but okay.
Yeah, which is only.
Do you know why? Yeah, it's because Final Fantasy 1 just went on sale, the Pixel remaster.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then just a couple hundred views less than that, it's Albed Primer.
That would be it.
Yeah,
that was the one I was thinking of.
And then is the ever-present Final Fantasy 12 loot page.
Yep.
And then the character pages for Cloud, Sephiroth, and Tifa.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah. Also, what the hell has been going on with page views in discussions? I'm just like, this is one thing that I probably should not be blasting out to the public. I'm just going to take a screen cap of this and post it in our podcast channel, and both Catchuse and Techno can look at this and think, what the hell? Because like, actually, what the hell?
Wow. What happened in that month where it's? Oh no, this isn't by a month.
Those are day by day views. Those are like January 5 and January 19.
What the fuck happened on the 5th or the 19th?
Well, I've got.
It's steady throughout the whole time, and then all of a sudden, like, so it seems like we're getting 500 page views a day, which I'm astonished by. And then all of a sudden, on the 5th, we get 4 grand.
Yeah.
Like 4,000 page views. And then the 19th, we get 4,000 page views again. And yeah, where is that coming from?
There's like nothing happening on discussions on those days.
That makes no sense.
Maybe it's like getting scraped by a bot or something?
That might be it.
Yeah, in which case, I mean, well, good luck. Discussions is fucking stupid, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I do like that somebody is doing some kind of research survey in the discussion board using Microsoft Forms. Okay, we used to call this place the ant farm because you just sort of look at it from the inside and there's like the whole like civilization in there that you don't understand. I still don't understand it.
Yeah. Oh god.
I don't fully understand it, but I will say, like, discussions, we didn't have a say in discussions existing or not. So we're not trying to compete with Reddit.
Yeah.
I don't know how it compares to Reddit, but either way, I don't like to get involved in like fan forums because I find there's just so much toxicity there. which is pointless.
Yeah. Like,
But-
we moderate it, but it relies on people there to actually report the fucking posts.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm pretty sure I'm the only admin who has ever banned someone for their behavior in discussions, and that's just because
Yeah,
it almost
I
never
haven't.
comes up.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So, unless either of you have anything to add, I think that's it for this month.
Yeah, I think we're good here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Good episode, lads.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, yeah, I'm SomeColourMage. That was Catuse and Technobliterator. Our theme tune, presuming I edited incorrectly, is La Montana de los Caballos Jovenes by XPRTNovice of the OC remix album Balance and Ruin, based on Koltz from Final Fantasy VI. And hopefully we will be back next month, because I don't really know what happened that caused us to miss 2 months in a row. Although, you know what? One extra note, because at this point, we are nearly 2 hours into this recording. I doubt anybody who cares about the rules of YouTube will still be listening. You might remember that, late in the previous Trump administration, we actually, kind of went against what fandom was telling us. We convinced them that, actually, yeah, Black Lives Matter is kind of important to everyone, so we should speak out about it. We did.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is now 2026, and things have gotten worse. I do not feel like making a wiki-specific statement. This is going to be my own statement, because it is probably going to be too extreme to be allowed on our front page. However, if you are someone who has any sort of association with entrenching the power of the Trump regime, I beseech you to have a moment where you regain enough of your lost humanity to realize how worthless of a person you are and go fucking kill yourself. Thank you, good night.
This is I'm an FFWiki bureaucrat, and I endorse this message.
Thank you. Now, good night.